Today, I'm bringing you guys along with me to not one, but to two different estate sales. At the first sale, I ended up finding some items that I had never dealt with before, but turned out to be worth a lot of money, and at the second sale, I found a huge lot of retro toy goodness. So let me show you how this all came to be.
We have Ben.
Yes, sir.
Jill. Felix. Pat.
So here I am, the first estate sale, and what drew me to this specific sale was that they had a bunch of retro toys in the photos. Now initially, I wasn't in the first group of people to get into the house. They only let the first 10 in originally, and I was number 11, so I wasn't the first person to get to the toys, and by the time I got to the room with them, they had been picked through a little bit. However, I still was able to get my hands on some of these Power Rangers up here on the shelves. Not the best score in the world, but they're still worth a little bit of money, and they're collectible.
I'm grabbing a bunch of the Power Rangers.
Power Rangers?
Yep. There you go. Can you see them? Just all Power Rangers.
Next, I made my way into the living room where I noticed this little box under a table that nobody had touched yet, so I decided to start digging through it, and I actually found quite a few things in there. The first thing I came across was a sealed PlayStation 4 game. This is Aegis of Earth. I've never heard of this game before, but it's brand new sealed, so for a couple bucks, I figured why not pick it up. Also in that same box, I noticed that there were a couple of vintage Disney snow globes, and I know some snow globes can have some crazy money behind them if you find the correct one, so I spent a couple of minutes looking up these snow globes, and I ended up picking up two of them. Neither of them are worth a ton of money, however, they still do have a little bit of value between like 30 and 40 bucks a piece. And then the final thing that I ended up picking up from that box was this 1981 Journey album. Now, I'm not a huge album person or vinyl person at all. I don't know much about them. I know that some of them can be worth good money, and rock ones are usually desirable, so I figured I might as well go ahead and pick this one up, take a chance on it. It was only like a couple bucks, so why not?
Thought I'd ask.
Moving on, the next items that caught my eye were some more stuff that I don't have a ton of experience in, but I know enough to be dangerous, and when I saw these three pieces of crystal sitting on top of the curio cabinet, I went over there to check them out, and to my surprise, they were all Waterford crystal. Now, like I said, I am not a crystal expert by any means. I only know a few brands to keep my eye out for, and Waterford is one of those brands, so I ended up picking up the three pieces. The first one was this guy right here. There we go, this guy right here. This is a Waterford Abbey clock, and the only reason I know it's called that is because the sticker is still on the back, so that was a great way to identify it. And then the other two were these small little vases right here. Both of them are Waterford. This one right here has like the classic Waterford sticker on it. There we go, right there. That's the sticker I know to look for, the one with the seahorse. And then the other one right here just had more of a generic tag. It says Marquise Waterford Crystal. I'm just guessing that's probably one of the lines of crystal that they came out with at some point. I'm not expecting these things to be worth a ton, but I figured for a couple bucks, I might as well pick them up.
Not a more quantity?
Oh, excuse me. Thank you.
Once I was done checking out all the stuff in the living room, I decided to go ahead and head down to the basement, and that is where I found the biggest question mark of this sale. Over on this desk, I noticed a machine that was marked at $800, and right next to that, there were a bunch of small brass letters that looked like they were for engraving.
Those are pretty cool. Letter blocks. Fun for crafters. Grab them.
And once again, this is an item that I have not had much experience with, but I do remember seeing stuff similar to these at places like antique booths, flea markets, and antique malls. So I figured I'm gonna go ahead and look them up real fast, and I was blown away with what I saw. Now, all the sets down there were by the same brand, New Hermes, and when I started looking them up, I seen some sets going for as low as 50 bucks and some going for over 300, so I was pretty sure these were gonna be a safe bet. While I was down there in the basement, I really didn't understand how to look these up because I'd never dealt with them before, but at the bottom there is a number down here, if that'll focus. There we go, right there. So over here you can see the set name and the number right there, and that is what I typed in eBay to figure out what each of these is worth, and I'll start popping up comps right now. But the sets that I ended up getting turned out to be some really, really good ones. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to buy them all because they wanted to keep some back to have with the printing presses, so he did let me buy some individually, and I think he priced all of the ones that I got at $25 total for the, what I get, 6 sets that I got, so not a bad investment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't see a tray lid down there for this one, do you?
No, but earlier on, there was a bunch of new Hermes stuff in those doors. I took a bunch of it out. There might be some trays in there.
Okay.
Some lids in there.
Let's see if there's a lid in there. Thank you.
And actually, while I was gathering up these sets, I needed the lid to one of the boxes, so I started looking through some nearby drawers, and I ended up coming across one of the best scores of the sale, one of the individual best scores of the sale, and that's my final item here. This little guy right here. This is a Casio scientific calculator watch. Now, I've picked up versions of these in the past and done relatively well with them, selling between like 40 and 60 bucks, but I've never found one of the big boys worth some serious money until now. The model of this one is CFX-20 if you want to look it up yourselves. There are sold comps for over $150 for this into the $200 marks, and there's only one currently listed at like 600 bucks or something like that. So conservatively, I think I can get over 200 bucks for this, considering mine will be the only used one on the market. I'm probably going to list it around 250 bucks and see what happens. Not bad for such a small little item. If you ever see one of these calculator watches, pick it up. It might just be worth some good money. And like I said, that was my final score of the sale, so the last thing I needed to do was go ahead and check out.
Got my ticket this time.
Okay.
Add me up inside.
75?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. You're very excused. All right, so 75 first for your toys.
Yeah,
and
and then
everything?
Yeah, for everything here. And then she said ask about the letter blocks because he was getting the price on them that you told me to put back.
You could do that now.
Yeah, how much were
You
those?
go. If you go back down there and get that.
He said them right there.
He said them right there for
Yeah.
you? Okay. All right, so
Just
we're
in case. So we're at 75 right now.
75, so all together, I'll do 100. Flat 100 for you.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you so much, boss.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So as you just heard right there, I paid $100 for everything that I got. That is $75 for everything that was in the bag, including that calculator watch, and then an additional $25 for those etching plates that he set aside and had to see if he could sell me. So overall, I am really happy with how that first sale went. Now let's hop over to sale number 2.
I'm just gonna grab a basket real fast. Thank you.
So here we are at the second sale of the video. Originally, I wasn't even going to stop at this sale, but it was on my way home, so I figured why not stop in there. It had already been running for a couple of hours, so when I saw this huge bucket of toys, I could not believe my eyes. I couldn't believe they hadn't been picked through yet, or if they had, they left a bunch of really good stuff.
Toys. Boba Fett. 1979. Someone tied him up real good. There we go. Alright, 1979 Boba Fett. We'll take it. What else we got in here? I have no idea what that's from, but it's kind of cool. Wrestler dude from 1986. I got a little Jurassic Park figure, Alan Grant. I think he's from Street Sharks, if I'm not mistaken. I think I just sold one of these recently.
And as you're seeing here, this thing had some good figures in it. It had that 1979 12-inch Boba Fett, there were a few G.I. Joes, some other random little figures in there, and at this point, I'm just tossing in figures because I figured I should be able to bundle them together. But then as I started walking over towards the shed, I noticed another huge bucket of toys sitting there, and that one actually had the prices next to it.
Oh, there's the prices. Oh wait, no, hold on. Toys right there. Small $2, medium $4, large $6. Alright. Wonder how these aren't picked through yet.
Now, like I said, I would normally try to buy all of the toys that I'm coming across. However, since these ones were individually priced, saying small, medium, and large, I did take my time and went through them, selecting the ones that I wanted to pick out, and I ended up finding some good stuff in there. I'll start popping up comps on the screen of some of the stuff that I picked up here, but this bin was absolutely loaded. There was all kinds of awesome retro toys in here. I mean, there was Ghostbusters, Transformers, TMNT, G.I. Joes, just everything that you want to see in a vintage toy box was right here. Unfortunately, a lot of the toys were in rough shape, missing pieces, missing parts, or just damaged more than I wanted to deal with, so I did end up leaving some of the figures that I would normally grab, but overall, this was a great little bin right here.
Big old Mickey. Let's see what's down here. Ghostbusters. Couple of Joes. Here are these guys. 1987 and 1989. Nice. Hulk Hogan. That's definitely a pickup. Thundercats.
You looked anything?
A little bit. Not too much. He didn't get his weapons and stuff, but
That's kind of what we figured.
And I do want to note, I didn't know all of these figures off the top of my head. I used the Google Lens app to scan a bunch of them and see which ones were worth picking up and which ones weren't. If you're not using Google Lens, it's a great resource and definitely an app that you need to be using when you're out at these sales.
some Hot Wheels. I don't see any red lines here. These don't look old enough to be red lines. So a quick glance. I'll come back in a second and look more. See what else they got laying around.
And after finishing up that bin, I decided to head inside and see if there's anything else that would catch my eye in there. It was a bunch of antique-y stuff, a lot of clothing, but I did end up finding another whole box of toys down in the basement. Look at this.
What do we got here? More toys? Look at that. More toys to go through. Okay. Little Star Wars. G.I. Joe.
There's just boxes of toys squirreled away everywhere in this place, in their shed, in their garage, and now in their basement. Another whole box of toys for me to go through. And again, there was some really, really good stuff in here. I ended up getting a bunch more G.I. Joes out of this box. I got some He-Man figures out of this box. This was just an absolutely crazy haul. It was turning into something I couldn't have ever guessed was here based on the pictures that they posted.
I'm just grabbing all the Joes that I see. These are all older ones. Why not? That's unfortunate. He's all painted up. He's a relatively rare one. You don't see him too often. He's got the rubber head too. Maybe I'll be able to get the paint off.
And actually, there was a bunch of more obscure, smaller figures in here as well that you don't see very often. Things like Muscle Men and Snailians, Battle Beasts and Dino Riders. There was just all kinds of stuff inside this bin.
Look at that dude. He's kind of funky. No idea what he's from, but he's cool. We'll grab him.
Now I want to jump in here. I had no idea at the time when I picked this up, but that last toy I just showed you, this little guy right here, is crazy expensive. Apparently this is a very, very rare Thundercats figure, and I had absolutely no idea. I just thought he looked cool and was unique enough for me to pick up since I'd never seen him before, but it turns out this guy is called Stinger, I believe, and he is worth some crazy money. Complete, he's going for like $400 to $600, and in this condition with none of his accessories, he's supposed to have like a mask and some wings and stuff. I still think I'm going to be able to get over $200 for him like this. So that's absolutely nuts. I couldn't believe that one at all. This little guy, if you see him, make sure to pick him up. Come on, focus. There you go. If you see this guy, make sure to pick him up. He is a crazy, crazy score. Now, unfortunately, because I took my time to go through all these boxes and basically look at each individual figure to see if I wanted it or not, my camera ended up dying while I was at the sale, but the only other things that I ended up grabbing outside of the action figures and toys were these 3 baseball cards that I randomly found sitting on a table. I got a 1971 Johnny Unitas, a 1960 Fleer Honus Wagner, and I'm probably going to butcher this guy's name, so I'm sorry, but it's a 1952 Bowman Orestes Minoso. So yeah, on top of all those toys, these 3 cards were the only other things I got. Here's a better look at everything so you can see how much I just ended up picking up. But I mean, there is a ton of different figures from a bunch of different lines. This just turned out to be a really awesome sale, and I ended up getting some very, very good figures out of it. And in total, for everything that I ended up getting at that sale, I paid $153. She ended up not charging me the $2. A lot of them she charged me $1 for, so I'm not really sure how her pricing was or what made her go down on it, but I was not going to argue. $152 for all that stuff, I am not complaining. So yeah, overall, I am really happy with how those 2 sales went. At the first one, we got a bunch of stuff that I'm unfamiliar with and I'm going to get to learn about. And at the second one, I got some of my favorite stuff to resell. vintage and retro toys. Not a bad weekend if I do say so myself. And hopefully by me showing you the stuff that I'm picking up like this, it's helping you guys learn what to look out for when you're at estate sales. If you've went to one recently and found something cool, let me know what it was down in the comments. Otherwise though, that's going to wrap things up for now. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, go down low, smash that like button for me. It lets me know that you like this style of video. Also, while you're down there, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that red button. It really does help me out and it keeps you up to date whenever I post a new video. Now though, I've got to go through all this stuff and get it photographed and listed, so I will see you in the next one. Till next time, keep on treasure hunting. Peace.